I didn't know how long I'd been walking the forest, didn't have paths anymore. It's just shadows and echoes, and the sound of my own breath trembling like a child in the dark eye didn't leave a note. No one knew where I'd gone, maybe I didn't want to be found, maybe I did, but somewhere between forgetting who I was and forgetting why I started, I heard it. A voice soft, familiar, impossible, I know the way, come back with me. And when I turned there, he was the only person who... Close your eyes for a moment, let the weight of the day slide quietly from your shoulders. Let the noise of the world settle like dust. Let yourself be held in the hush that only nighttime offers. Now imagine you're walking, not toward something, but away from sound, away from people, away from your own name. The road behind you has faded, the road ahead is swallowed in mist. There's no map, no compass, just footsteps. Yours the forest is quiet. Two quiet branches reach out like ribs. The trees whisper but say nothing. You don't remember when you started walking. Only that staying still felt worse. Only that something inside you broke without a sound. And you needed distance to know if it could be put back. You told no one, left no note, because you didn't want questions, you didn't want explanations, you just wanted quiet, but the quiet grew teeth. Now the cold sinks deeper, and the sky grows heavy. And for the first time since you left, you whisper a word you haven't said. In days help, it isn't loud, it isn't even full. It's the shape of a word, the outline of a wish, and the forest answers not with sound, but with feeling, a warmth behind you. Stillness within the stillness, you turn slowly, expecting nothing. Hoping for less, and there he stands, not as a stranger, but not quite as you remembered him. Either his coat is wet, his hair longer, but his eyes haven't changed. He says nothing, just watches you like he's been watching for a long time. Blink, unsure, uncertain, unworthy. Is it really you? You whisper. He nods once. I've been looking. Your knees nearly give out because you didn't think anyone would, you didn't think anyone should. Why? His answer is simple, soft and heavy. Because you didn't say goodbye. The words hit like rain after a long drought. Cold, true, and necessary. He steps closer, slowly, so slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. You don't back away, but you don't move forward either. I didn't want to be found, you sigh. He nods. I know, but that didn't stop me. You laugh, but it's not joy, it's disbelief. It's relief that hurts. How did you know where to look? He tilts his head. The same way I always knew when you were lying. I felt it. You want to run, you want to collapse, you want to say sorry, but the words don't come. So you just stand there shivering, soggy small. He opens his coat, holds it wide, not commanding, not demanding, just offering, and you step forward because you don't know what else to do, because you are cold and tired and so very done pretending you're not broken. His arms wrap around you, not tightly, just enough, like the world became a smaller room, and you are safe inside it. To don't cry, not yet. The tears haven't given themselves permission, he whispers. I brought your shoes. You look down and realize your laces are gone, your sole's thin, your steps worn out. To whisper back, I didn't know I'd come this far. He nods. You always do farther than you should alone. You don't move for a long time. The forest stops breathing. The night holds its breath. When he finally pulls away, he doesn't ask questions. He doesn't press. He just says, there's a place nearby, safe, dry. You don't have to talk. You just have to walk with me. And so you do, not because you're strong, but because he is on for now. That's enough. The path he leads you through is narrow, covered in moss. Roots rise like old scars, but he knows the way. He walks without looking down. You follow, because following feels like remembering, because you used to walk behind him when you were kids. Through alleys, through fields, through pain you didn't yet have names. For you finally ask, how long were you looking for me? He pauses, turns, shrugs lightly. Since the day you went quiet. You nod, because you understand now. The quiet wasn't silent. The fire settles into a quiet rhythm, each crackle a heartbeat. Each flame a whisper of warmth you forgot you deserved. You don't speak for a long time. And neither does he, but it's not silence that presses its peace, the kind that only happens when someone chooses to stay, even when they don't understand. He gets up, eventually moves around the small cabin, lighting candles, filling the space with soft amber light. You watch him, the way he moves, like someone who never rushed, like someone who understood that gentleness was strength too. There's something about him, something different, but not unfamiliar, as if the years didn't change him, they just deepened him. He sets down a plate of food, bread, warm soup. Ain't nothing extravagant, but it tastes like being found. You eat in silence, you sip slowly. And when you finally speak, it's not with guilt, it's with honesty. I thought I had to break quietly so no one would hear me fall. He nods, once eyes on the candle, and I thought, if I could disappear softly enough, maybe no one would have to carry my pieces. He doesn't flinch, doesn't interrupt, he just waits. You take a shaky breath. I didn't know you were still listening. I didn't think anyone could hear what I didn't say. He finally meets your eyes, soft, unmoving. You never had to say it. I always knew when you needed someone to stay. The tears come again, not in floods, but like rain. Gentle, steady, he gets up, takes a blanket from the shelf, and wraps it around your shoulders again, the way he used to after cold games in the snow, or long walks home after you fell apart quietly that night. You sleep not because you're tired, but because you're saffanned for the first time in what feels like years. You don't dream of running, you dream of being found. Morning arrives in a hush. The sun barely touches the frost. Outside, the cabin is still warm, and he's already up, boiling water, watching the light shift through the window. You sit quietly, and he passes you a cup. No words, just warmth. After a few minutes, he says, I came to this cabin the day I realized you were gone. Not just far, but really gone. Like something inside you had slipped beyond reach. You nod, because you remember the slipping. The feeling of being behind glass, of screaming with no sound. I stayed here for days, he says. Didn't know what I was waiting for. I just felt like I needed to be somewhere you'd return to. If you ever did. You look around at the small things, the blanket, the music box on the shelf, the notebook with the corner folded. You made this a place for me. He smiles faintly. I didn't know what else to do. There's something sacred in that sentence, in that simple act of building a place for someone who may never come back later. You step outside into the still morning. The forest smells like pine, and memory snow hasn't come yet. But the air carries its promise. He walks beside you, not leading, not following, just walking. You past trees you've seen before, only now you're seeing them, not through fog, but through feeling. And then you reach the clearing, the one where you used to build forts, throw stones, make rules that only the two of you understood. Then there in the middle, a bench, weathered, carved, and on the back your name and his etched deep. Still there, after all these years, you run your fingers over the letters, feel the grooves like old wounds that healed. Not without scars, but with meaning. I never thought we'd be back here, you whisper. He sits beside you, hands in his coat pockets, eyes on the trees. Neither did I. But maybe we were never meant to leave it forever. Maybe this place waited for us too. You sit for hours talking. Morning comes like a secret you weren't sure you were ready to hear. Soft light rests on the wooden floor. The fire has dimmed, but the warmth still lingers in the room, and in your chest you sit up slowly, blankets slipping from your shoulders, and for the first time in what feels like forever, your first thought is not escape, but return. He's already up, boiling water again, writing in a notebook that's frayed at the edges. You watch him for a moment, the way his brow furrows when he writes, the way he hums softly when he's thinking. When he notices you're awake, he doesn't say, good morning. He just smiles, and that's enough. You join him by the window, 2 chairs side by side, steam rising from the mugs between you, and for a while you just listen, the sound of branches swaying, of birds, stirring, of a world that kept going even while you paused. I thought the world would fall apart when I left you. Say quietly. He nods. It didn't, but that doesn't mean it didn't notice you. Sip your tea, feel it settle into the empty spaces, and ask, "Why did you wait so long to come find me?" He turns to you, looks not at your face, but into it. "Because you told me not to, with every silence, with every look away, you were asking me not to follow, and I had to respect that you looked down ashamed, but he places a hand over yours. That doesn't mean I stopped caring. It just means I waited in my own way." There's something about that sentence that feels like forgiveness. Not demanded, but given later. You take a walk through the woods. He leads, but he doesn't guide. It's not about following anymore. It's about walking beside you, stopped by a stream, the one that used to feel like a river when you were both smaller. You remember the rocks you once painted, the secret code you made up. One of them is still there. Barely visible, but real. You crouch, pick it up, turn it over, and gasp because your handwriting is there. And his too. You must have been no older than 12. You show him and he smiles. "I checked it every year, even touched it up once." You look at him. "How did you know I'd come back to it?" "I didn't, but I needed it to be ready. In case you ever did." You sit on the bank, let the water speak. Let the breeze carry the rest. Back at the cabin, he brings out a box you hadn't seen, smaller, older, tied with string inside. Memories, a postcard you once sent him, never mailed, but he kept it anyway. A crumpled note written in your own handwriting. "I'll be okay someday." He hands it to you and says you never were very good at lying. You laugh, and it feels good, like warmth through your ribs. Like honesty with a pulse. As the sun sets, you talk, really talk about what broke you, about what you feared, about what you almost became. He doesn't interrupt, he just listens, and when you finish, he says, "I was scared too. Not that you left, but that you'd never let me walk beside you again." You shake your head. "You always could. I just didn't know how to stop running." He smiles. "Then let's walk now, just for a while together." The night is quieter than the others, and when you lie down, he leaves the door slightly open. Just like you used to when you were little, in case you had nightmares. But you don't. You sleep, and this time your dream is different. You're walking through a city, and everyone is rushing, faces, blurred voices, distant, but ahead, you see him not walking, just waiting. And when you reach him, you don't speak, you just sit beside him on a bench, and everything stops. And when you wake, the sun is rising, and so are you. You pack your bag. He doesn't ask where you'll go, because he knows now. It's not about destination, it's about intention. At the door, you turn to him and say, "Thank you for finding me." He shrugs like it's nothing. But you both know it was everything. He places something in your hand, a folded note, small, simple, for later. He says you step out into the morning, not as someone lost, but as someone found. The forest parts for you now, like it recognizes your steps the same way it once recognized your pain. You follow the trail, not back to the life you ran from, but forward to the life waiting. And when you stop to rest under an old tree, you open the note. It says, "When you feel like disappearing again, remember this: you don't have to be seen to be loved. You don't have to be strong to be worth finding. Just stay, and I will come." Every time you fold it carefully, place it in your coat, right above your heart, and whisper, "I believe you now." The path winds slowly, but your steps are no longer heavy. You're not walking to escape anymore. You're walking to understand. The leaves whisper your name, not like a warning, but like a welcome, like they missed you and the weight you left in the world. You pause near a tree with carvings, old hearts, initials, faded promises scratched into bark. One catches your eye, yours and his from years ago. You and his from years ago. You run your fingers across it, and it doesn't feel like pain anymore. It feels like memory, alive. Still waiting. You sit there for a while, letting time slow down around you, letting the sun filter through the branches, soft as breath, and you wonder how long it takes to heal, really heal, not just enough to move, but enough to return, because you're not running anymore. You're learning how to stay. You spend days in small towns, sleeping in quiet inns, eating meals you don't rush, journaling things you never thought you'd share. Sometimes you reread his letter folded neatly in your coat. The One that reminds you that love doesn't vanish, even when you meet people who smile and you smile back. Not forced, not hollow, just enough. You. Start writing again letters at first to him, even if you don't send them. You write things like, I didn't realize how lost I was until someone reminded me what it felt like to be found, and thank you for not needing me to be fixed. Before you stood beside me one morning, you wake to the sound of rain, soft, steady, familiar. You sit by the window, cup of tea in hand, and remember that first day when he found you in the woods, no judgment, just presence, and you know with certainty that some part of you came back that day, the part that stopped asking to be rescued and started believing. It was worth staying for you. Decide it's time to go home, not the place, but the people. You pack your things, take a long walk through the rain, and board a quiet train, the rhythm of the tracks humming like an old lullaby. You arrive after sunset. The sky dim, the air cool, but the streets look smaller and kinder. You walk slowly past familiar corners, old fences. The tree outside your childhood window. You hesitate at the last turn, but then you see him sitting on the steps, head down, reading something. A candle flickering beside him despite the drizzle. When he looks up, he doesn't look surprised. He just smiles. Like he already knew this moment would come. You walk to him, stand quietly, and he says, "Welcome back." You sit beside him, and for a long time neither of you speak. The rain falls, the candle flickers, and your hearts remember how to beat in rhythm. You hand him the letters. All of them folded, worn. He reads them slowly, one by one, his hands trembling by the fifth, his eyes full by the seventh one. He's done. He doesn't say much. He just leans into you and breathes. That night you stay in your old room. The walls feel smaller, but your chest doesn't know. Lie in bed, eyes open, and you whisper, "I'm not lost anymore." The days that follow are simple, but in their simplicity there is healing. You cook together, go for walks, talk about nothing and everything. He asks what you saw out there, and you tell him not just the trees or the rain, but the fear, the silence, the loneliness that almost swallowed you whole, and how he pulled you out not with noise, but with staying power. You say, "You saved me," and he shakes his head. "No, I just reminded you that you were worth finding." One evening, you visit the place where it all began, the clearing, the bench, the stone with your handwriting. You bring something new, a second stone carved with the word home. You place it beside the old one, not to erase the past, but to complete. Eth stands beside you, hands in his pockets, eyes soft. You ready to start again? You nod. "I already have time." Moves differently now, slower, kinder. You both rebuild, not what was, but what could be. You don't talk about the leaving much, because it's not the part that matters. The part that matters is the returning, and the one who never stopped waiting. One day, he brings out a small wooden box, inside, to matching rings, not gold, not silver, just carved wood. Worn smooth, he hands one to you and says, "Not a promise, not a vow, just a reminder that no matter how far you go, someone will always come find you." You wear it on your thumb, where it spins like a quiet truth. You carry it with every step, every page, every breath, and on the days when the world feels heavy again, you don't disappear. You call him, and he comes every time. The friend who found you when you didn't know how to be seen still walks beside you, not in front, not behind, but next to you, through storms, through quiet, through life. And every time it rains, you both still go outside, not to run, not to hide, but to remember. The rain comes softly this time, not as a warning, not as a storm, but as a memory gently returning to your skin. You open the window, let the scent of wet earth fill the room. You sit at the desk, the same one from childhood, and begin to write, not to escape, not to explain, but to remember. You write about the night you disappeared, and the morning you were found. You write about the forest, the fire, the way silence wrapped around you like fog, but most of all, you write about him, the one who never knocked down your walls, only waited at the gate, the one who didn't come charging into your darkness just stood at the edge of it, holding a small lantern until you were ready to walk toward it too. Finish the letter, seal it, and place it in the box marked Keep, Not Forget, Not Forgive, just keep, because this is yours and his, and no one else. That weekend you both go on a trip not far. Just far enough to the cabin. It's older, now more weathered, but still standing like you step inside. And everything remembers you, the firewood, the blanket, the chair that still creaks when you Scythe watches you, quiet, soft eyes that say, see, we made it back. You nod and say, it's warmer. Now he builds a fire. You unpack the bread and you eat in the glow of something whole. Not perfect, just whole. After dinner, you both go outside. The sky is darker than you remembered, but the stars feel closer, like they've been waiting too. You sit on the bench, the same bench from the clearing, the one he carved, the one that held your names and your silence. Tonight you speak. I never thanked you properly for not giving up on me. He smiles. You didn't have to. You look at your hands, the same ones that once trembled when you couldn't find yourself. Now resting, now still. I thought if I disappeared, the pain would too, but it didn't. It followed me. Until your voice caught up. He leans back, looks at the sky. I think we're all waiting to be found. Some of us just walk further than others. Before we realize it, you nod, eyes full but not heavy. I think I'm done running now. He doesn't answer right away. He just reaches into his coat, pulls out a folded piece of paper. You take it, unfold. It's a list you've made together. As kids, places to go when we're older, things to build, people to become. Half the items are crossed off, but the other half are waiting. He grins. You ready to finish it? You grin back. Only if we do it slow, one step at a time. You stay in the cabin a few more days, and every moment feels like a small stitch mending something inside you, thread by thread. You laugh together, louder now, like your chest has room for joy again. You find your old notebook in the drawer, the one with scribbles and promises. You add a new page. Came back. He found me. We stayed back in the city. Life moves on, but not without you. This time you go to work. You write, you breathe, you make tea for two. Not when you watch the rain from the inside, not from the outside, not from the edge. You visit the park, sit on the same bench, and sometimes you find others there, looking lost too. Don't tell them what you've been through, but you stay, you sit beside them. Quiet, warm, because now you understand what it means to be found and what it means to find others. Years pass softly like pages, turning themselves. You grow older together. He moves into the house next door, and your lives weave like vines, strong, steady. You walk in the mornings, read in the afternoons, and write each other letters even when you're only a few feet apart, because some things are worth writing down, some feelings need paper to live longer than voices can carry. And one night, as rain taps gently at the window, you light a candle and take out that final letter, the one you kept sealed from the day he found you. You open it, hand steady, heart full. It reads, when you feel like you've lost yourself again, look for the sound of my footsteps. And if you can't hear them, know this, I'm still walking toward you, even now, even always. You place it beside the photo of the two of you, smiling under the grayest sky, and whisper, I hear you, because in the end, you were never lost. You were just waiting to be reminded that someone, somewhere, still knew the way back to you, and that someone found you again and again and again till you remembered that you were never really gone, just waiting to come home.